Welcome back, y'all. We are going to do some grouping in just a second. So just a reminder that there are 4 types of factoring that we're going to learn in Chapter 5. The first type is GCF. The second type is grouping. This video covers grouping. Go back and watch videos 1 through 3 for GCF. Grouping is short and sweet, and this will be the only video for it. Then we'll move into the trinomials. Okay, so 4 types of factoring. GCF is done. Grouping is next. Here we go. All right. So we do grouping when we have 4 terms and we don't have a GCF. Notice these 4 terms do not have a GCF. If you look carefully, then you'll see that a couple of them have A's, but not all of them have A's. And some of them have Q's, but not all of them have Q's. Some of them 7 go into, but not all of them. So notice that we do not have any common factor for all 4 terms. And this is when we use grouping. Here we go. First step, group into pairs. So I'm going to take the first 2 and the second 2. That's generally how it works, but you don't have to do it that way. We'll see one in a few minutes. We're actually doing it that way will work. But group into pairs. All right, then we're going to GCF each pair. Now I know that there is an A common for this first group, and that's going to give me an A plus 2. And for the second group, I see a positive 7 common and a Q, and that's going to give me A plus 2 as well. Now, something very important that you need to pay attention to is the fact that those parentheses are the same. And so that's step 3, where we GCF the parentheses, just like we did at the end of the last video. The A plus 2 is a common parentheses, and then the A, that's supposed to change color, the A plus 7Q is the other factor. And this is, in fact, the answer. Okay. Now, you can always check by multiplying. Remember, we use the FOIL method to multiply these. All right, you can check this by multiplying. So I do A times A. I get A to the second, which checks. A times 7Q will give me 7AQ, which it checks. 2 times A, that's a 2A, check. And 2 times 7Q, which is 14Q, check. So you see, we can check by multiplying. So that's my answer. Let's do a couple more examples and we'll be done with section 5-1. All right, factor by grouping. Okay, if we will look carefully, we've got 4 terms and we're going to group into pairs. All right, it's lawnmower time. So we're going to group into pairs. Sorry about the extra noise. And so this pair and then this pair. Okay, so we're going to GCF each pair. So the first pair, if I look at my numbers, there's a 7 common. And I think there is an R common, but the Y is only in one of those. So it's not common. So 7R is common. All right, so 28 divided by 7 is 4. And R squared divided by R leaves an R. And then 21 divided by 7 is 3. R divided by R is 1. And then we have a Y. Okay, there we go. All right, next pair. Okay, this one has a negative. Remember, we did negatives. We do a negative. The first one is a negative. You have to do a negative. Okay, so we have a negative. All right, now numbers, we don't have a number other than 1. So 1 is the only common number, so we're going to put the 1 there. We might need it. You always got to put the 1s in these guys. So you've got to, if this 1's common, then you need it. When we look at our variables, we have an X common, and that's it. So now that's going to give me an R left over, excuse me, a 4R. I knew something wasn't right. A 4r plus a 3y. Now here is a good way to check yourself. After you've grouped GCF each pair, the parentheses should match. If the parentheses don't match, you did something wrong. Ooh, maybe the grass is finished being cut. But the parentheses should match. If they don't match, you've done something wrong. So let's look and see what we have here. Step 3 is GCF, the parentheses. Right, so 4r plus 3y is the parentheses. And then what's left over is the 7r minus the 1x. And that's my answer. And again, you can check that by multiplying with FOIL. All right, so now let's look at this next one. This next one is kind of tricky. It doesn't work like the rest of them. Okay, and notice I said sometimes you need to rearrange. Sometimes you might need to rearrange, okay? Because when I group them into pairs, all right, now don't write this down. When I group them into pairs, there's no GCF here for the first pair, so I would have to put a 1. And then when I do the second pair, the only thing common is an M, so that would 7 plus 2p. Well, my parentheses don't match. So did I do something wrong? Well, not really, but let's try rearranging and see if it works. Okay, so let's switch 2 of them. It doesn't matter which 2 you switch, but I think I'm going to switch. Let's switch these 2. Okay, let's just rewrite the problem. It's all addition, so there's no reason why we can't rewrite things. And that's going to give me that kind of load. Switch those 2. And let's have 14p plus the 7m. Okay. All right, so now let's pair these 2 up. And we've got an m common. So that gives me m plus a 2p. And then here we have a 7 common. And that's going to leave a 2p plus m. Now, are the parentheses matching now? Well, look closely. Yes, they are. Yes. Because addition, you can switch them around like that. So yes, they do match. So sometimes you need to rearrange. So my GCF for my parentheses is m plus 2p. And then my leftovers are the m here plus the 7. And that's where we get our answer. And that's the final answer there. And if you multiply it out, you'll get those 4 terms. You might get them in a different order, but again, it's addition. So it doesn't matter what order they're really in. All right, guys, that's it for 5-1. It's just math, y'all. You can do this. You can do it.